Check it out, it's your boy Bush. We back with another reaction video. Man, this one caught my eye. We heard rumors about this dude, Eric Holder, about different situations. Eric Holder, the guy that killed Nipsey. We heard rumors about deaths in his family, a lot of shit going wrong for him since he killed Nipsey, and even in prison, all kind of crazy shit. I seen this video. We're gonna react to it. Coolin TV. Shout out Coolin TV. Yeah, man. Interesting shit. Let's get into it though. Let's just go. Fuck it.
They wiped out his whole family. Baby mama, granny.
But guess who was on that bus with Eric Holder? Nigga, that everything I love. He was right there on the same bus, and it's crazy because I'm tamed up. I'm with a few homies. I'm with a homie from 60s too. He looks back, everybody on the bus like, what the f? I swear to God. And then he's like, you Eric Holder? He's like, yeah, crazy. Everything I love. He got pissed on and some more shit spit on.
They were pissing and spitting on him in the bus?
Hell yeah, squirting piss on his ass.
Like they went and did John's that same day. People's is dead behind that. And it's like,
damn, I was chained up when I was on the bus, and it wasn't even on no serious shit like shackled to somebody else. How you could piss on some? I guess you could, do your work with your one hand. I don't know. That's crazy as hell though. He said he got pissed on the bus. Damn.
most would have been like, I ain't got shit to live for. Shit, y'all people.
Nipsey Hussle's tragic death sent shockwaves through the world, shaking the music industry, his community, and fans everywhere to the core. But who could have imagined the fallout for his career, Eric Holder, would spiral into something this intense, this chaotic, and frankly, this extreme?
After that happened, they went and shot up this family house. They wiped out his whole family. Baby mama, granny, dead. Like they went and did John's that same day.
It's like watching a real-life cautionary tale unfold, with consequences rippling far beyond the courtroom. So, here's how the story unfolds. Eric Holder, the man convicted of murdering Nipsey, has been sentenced to a staggering 60 years in prison.
Hip-hop star Nipsey Hussle was gunned down in 2019, and today, Holder Jr. was sentenced to 60 years to life.
Justice on paper seemed served, but long before the gavel even dropped, Holder started facing a storm of consequences outside the legal system. Rumors swirled about a brutal shootout that allegedly targeted his family, leaving devastating casualties in its wake. As if that weren't chilling enough, word on the street suggests anyone daring to visit or associate with him might face deadly consequences too. It's almost as if Nipsey's legacy has created an invisible shield of vengeance around his memory.
They said baby mama, and grandma. That's some North Korea shit. I don't know if y'all know about North Korea. You fucking cross them, you break the law, you try to escape, you get away, your whole family wiped out for 3 generations. Baby mama, grandma. They said you associate with this dude, you out of here. They on some shit, boy. That's some shit. And 60s is deep as fuck. You ain't going nowhere without some 60s. Even they out here in New York, they out here in Brooklyn. So yeah, man. Whew. Nipsey was well loved.
And Holder's family seems desperate to distance themselves from paying further prices in blood. And then there's prison, where Holder's life hasn't exactly been smooth sailing either. Stories of mistreatment and violence have surfaced, painting a bleak picture of his existence behind bars.
Rapper Nipsey Hussle's alleged killer was attacked on his way to court. Eric Holder's attorney tells TMZ that he was attacked by 2 people while in a holding cell. Holder needed 3 staples after being cut.
One former inmate even recalled a harrowing incident during Holder's transfer to prison, describing the merciless abuse endured.
But guess who was on that bus?
The 60s is a gang in LA. Notorious big gang. Shout out KTS. We missed you last night. But yeah, 60s is a gang in LA. That's crazy. But when you're a gang member, you go to jail, prison, you're going to have fights. So we can't automatically say that's because of Nipsey. But man, the boy been going through it. Let's keep going.
Bus with Eric Holder. Nigga, that everything I love. He was right there on the same bus, and it's crazy because I'm tamed up. I'm with a few homies. I'm with a homie from 60s too. He looks back, everybody on the bus like, what the f? I swear to God. And then he's like, you Eric Holder? He's like, yeah, it's crazy. Everything I love. He got pissed on and some more shit spit on.
They were pissing and spitting on him in the bus?
Hell yeah, squirting piss on his ass.
While some shrug off his fate, others can't help but wonder, is this the beginning of the end for Holder? Could his time in prison be even shorter than anyone expected? Not because of early release, but because of what happens when revenge and justice blur into one dangerous force.
He said beginning of the end. It's been over for this dude, man. You really think he in prison? He probably want to kill himself. He probably don't want to. He would rather somebody take him off, if you really lost your whole family, you lost, you know, your ties to your gang, you're going at it with your gang, and you shot Nipsey, and it came off as if it was just a moment of rage, and you probably regret it. I don't think he want to live anyway. He says it's the beginning of the end. Man, shit, that boy it's been the end. The 60s is a faction of a larger gang. The 60s is a faction of the Crips. Yeah, the rolling 60s Crips, and they're the largest faction of the Crips, as far as I know. Very dangerous gang.
Nipsey's influence was undeniable. He was adored, respected, and cherished not just in his neighborhood, but across the entire rap world. It's likely Holder never anticipated just how far that influence would reach, or how fiercely people would rally to honor Nipsey's memory. The big question now is, does Holder regret pulling that trigger? Or is it too late for regret to matter? Let's unpack and see how deep it goes. So here's the thing. After Eric Holder shot Nipsey Hussle, the streets were buzzing with whispers that revenge was swift and brutal, with claims floating around that his entire family might have been targeted in a wave of retaliatory attacks.
After that happened, they went in and shot up family house. They wiped out his whole family. Baby mama, granny, dead. Like, they went and did John's that same day.
While nothing official confirmed this, several unverified reports hinted that at least 2 of Holder's family members had either been offed or shot at as payback for Nipsey's murder. And even DJ Academics, a big name in hip-hop media, chimed in saying family members of Holder had been attacked. This, of course, sparked a massive debate about how far people were willing to go to seek vengeance for Nipsey, but it didn't stop there. The conversation only got messier. Tariq Nasheed, another outspoken voice and an LA resident, didn't hold back, claiming that Holder was notorious in the neighborhood as a snitch and might have been involved in other K-ings too.
So he got the snitch thing on his jacket. He got the thing with Nipsey on his jacket. 60s, like I said, is a huge gang with thousands of members. You can't, Black Sam, Nipsey's brother, probably told his people, his immediate circle, nah, we not doing nothing, leave that alone. This should get me in more trouble and tarnish Nipsey's legacy more. But you can't control everybody in that gang. That's what I was telling Loose Cannon the other day. You can't control everybody's emotions. You don't know how Nipsey touched different people in the neighborhood, and whatever he did on his own, the friends he made, the loved ones who don't give a fuck what nobody's saying. They're going to go ride for their homeboy, and that's just what it is. That's just the gang mentality. You know, you can't control them dudes. And you know the saying about the rolling 60s. They say you're not a real rolling 60s until you kill another rolling 60s. Now, that's some treacherous shit, but yeah, man.
He even took it up a notch, posting a photo that he alleged showed the crime scene of one of Holder's relatives. As this frenzy unfolded, the LAPD reportedly beefed up patrols, trying to keep the peace in the face of mounting tension after Nipsey's tragic death. But let's be real, the rumor mill was spinning at full speed and it wasn't about to slow down. Some folks began whispering that Holder might not have been acting on his own, that he was just a pawn in some larger, more sinister game.
That's the shit that Wack was pushing. Shout out my boy James Hudson, my boy. That's the shit that Wack was pushing. We all know that about the Big U sending him to kill all that shit. I don't really believe that. I don't really believe that at all. But that's what they saying out there, that that Big U sent Eric Holder to kill Nipsey. That sounds like some bullshit to me. But hey, I've been surprised before.
The name Big U popped up more than a few times in these conversations, mostly because of his past issues with Nipsey. Word had it that tension between the two flared when Nipsey decided to cut ties with Big U and strike out on his own, which apparently led to some bad blood. According to someone in the rolling 60s who's been dropping her 2 cents on all this fallout might have played a part in what happened.
Because if Big U was actually in on it, I would be like, paid me, or you did whatever, and I didn't, and I held up my end of the bargain.
In the days after Nipsey's death, speculation about Big U's involvement ran wild in LA, with people pointing to his clout in the community and his history with Nipsey as reasons he might have been connected.
When that Nipsey first popped off, when it first happened, everybody in LA thought Big U was shitty.
But at the end of the day, all that talk didn't really stick. Eric Holder was the one who pulled the trigger. And for those seeking revenge, that was all they needed to know. As if all this chaos wasn't enough, Holder faced his own share of pain after the shooting. While he was on trial, he got attacked in jail, and according to his lawyer Jansen, it wasn't pretty. He was cut on the back of his head with a razor, his face was swollen, and his eye was messed up. Apparently,
that's regular jail shit, but on that Big U shit, you know, it really don't make sense when you think about the situation. You know, I know Loose Cannon said it, Jules, Lizzie, or whatever. I know Loose Cannon said it, but my thing is you gotta put it together and make it make sense to you. It didn't make no sense to me. Eric approached Nipsey, shook his hand, they chopped it up a bit. Nipsey told him, man, you might want to stay out of here. You labeled as a rat, this and that. And any gang member, you say that to them, they're gonna go feel away and they might go crazy. If you're a killer, you might, do something stupid. If Big U sent him, I don't think it would have been in that manner to be right there in the open for everybody to see who did it. If Big U sent them, it'd probably been some sneak shit, some shit that we don't know who pulled the trigger. But in this situation, it was all on cameras. All the homies seen it. Everybody in front of the store seen it. So that would be just totally like slow of Big U to do that. I doubt that. But yeah. Getting attacked in prison, regular shit for a gang member.
Apparently, 2 inmates jumped him after he'd been transported back to jail following a court appearance.
Rapper Nipsey Hussle's alleged attacked on his way to court. Eric Holder's attorney tells TMZ that he was attacked by 2 people while in a holding cell. Holder needed 3 staples after being cut.
Things got so bad that the judge had to cancel court for the day, telling the jurors to come back later unless they heard otherwise. Rolling Stone reported that Holder was supposed to be kept away from other inmates during transportation, but clearly that plan didn't quite work out. And all of this stems back to the tragic day in May 2019, when Holder allegedly walked up to Nipsey outside his clothing store, The Marathon, and opened fire, hitting him 11 times and injuring 2 others in the process. The whole thing was supposedly caught on video, showing Holder even kicking Nipsey in the head as he lay on the ground bleeding, a moment that shook not just LA but the entire world.
Now, if Big U sent him, you see the malice, he shot him up, then he kicked him in the head. That's his own personal feelings. That's his own rage, his own shit, his own actions. All that nonsense Big U sent them, that's some stupid shit. I don't believe that one bit. Honestly, I really don't.
District Attorney John McKinney alleged Holder gunned down Nipsey in the parking lot of the Marathon clothing store, walked over to his bullet-riddled body, and kicked him in the head.
So here's how it all played out. Right from the start of the trial, Jansen, Eric Holder's lawyer, didn't shy away from the fact that his client did shoot Nipsey Hussle, who was just 33, but he pushed back hard against the idea that it was some cold, calculated plan. This is a case of heat of passion, Jansen told the jurors, explaining that Nipsey had accused Holder of being a snitch. And, well, that kind of talk doesn't just sit quietly in the streets.
A lot of the from his own hood, they gonna feel like Eric Holder was in the right and he did what he was supposed to do as a gangster, as a street.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like that. Gangs are definitely more violent now than they were in the 80s and 90s because of the high power machinery that these guys got, and the killers are getting younger and younger. He said, look at Lil Durk's murder for hire case and how them boys crashed out. That's a different situation too. I mean, Lil Durk lost his top motherfucking goon, his top money maker, his star, and they said it was like they were best friends. Lil Durk wanted that boy dead, allegedly, and that's a different situation there. You feel me? That's totally different. Big U, it's probably the same because Nipsey was at one point Big U's bag. We know that, but at the same time, like I said, the way it went down, it don't make sense that it was a paid hit. But at the same time, like I've been wrong before, like I said, he said put everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Yeah, that's a fact, you know. I just don't, I can't rock with the Big U scenario on that. You feel me? I really can't.
Where he's from, when you get called a snitch, it's traumatizing. It's basically the worst thing somebody can say to you. So he's saying he snapped.
You've got to remember, these two had history. They grew up in the same neighborhood, and they were both tied to the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips in South LA. So this wasn't just some random encounter, it was personal. According to Herman Douglas, one of Nipsey's closest friends, the two had a brief conversation just 10 minutes before the shooting. Nipsey brought up this rumor he'd heard about Holder supposedly cooperating with law enforcement and giving up names. Douglas said Holder didn't even seem all that bothered when Nipsey mentioned it, like he was brushing it off, but clearly something must have been simmering beneath the surface because what happened next changed everything. And then
yeah, that was Cowboy. He took the stand. He got a lot of controversy from his gang for taking a stand. He got a lot of trouble for that, but at the same time, the man took the stand. He loved Nipsey Hussle. Don't you think he would have brought up Big U and brought up some things if he knew some things? He never mentioned that. You feel me? But he did. He was going against the whole thing about Nipsey Hussle calling him a rat, and that's why he got killed. So maybe in sub, I don't know. You feel me? I really don't know. But everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Nipsey's brother even hinted to like something deeper than this. It just don't make no sense to me, though. That's all.
And there's Braynita Nicholson, Holder's former flame, who laid out a whole different angle when she testified. She said she had driven Holder to a restaurant in the same plaza where Nipsey's Marathon store was located. And while they were there, she overheard Holder confronting Nipsey in this loud, sharp tone, saying, "Did you say I snitched?" before walking off.
Now, what did you hear Eric say? Did you say I snitched? Eric was asking Nipsey if he snitched. And then at that point, she said she took a photo and then she walked off.
After that, Holder got back in the car and told Nicholson to drive around the block, once, twice. And by the time they looped back, she said he was sitting there loading his gun right in the car.
Did he?
Once he said that to Nipsey, did you say I snitched? He already made up his mind right there what he was going to do. He said, wait a minute, you said I snitched? All right, say less. Say less. I'll be right back. You know.
He wanted to eat his food, then he said drive around. So now he's back in the car with the chili cheese fries, and he asked her to just pull out of the parking lot and to drive around. So once they came back around the block, they pretty much did a circle. He began to put bullets in the gun.
She even described how he casually told her to park in an alley, took a couple of bites of his chili cheese fries, like this was the most normal thing in the world, and then just walked off toward the store.
She says, I kept stressing to him, let's go. Then he said, wait right here, I'll be right back.
Moments later, she heard gunshots ringing out, and at first she thought about taking off, but then she hesitated, wondering if maybe Holder had been hurt in whatever went down. But then he came running back, jumped in the car, and yelled at her to drive away fast. She said she saw him stash 2 guns in a bag, and even then, she didn't fully put 2 and 2 together. It wasn't until he spent the night at her place, and she saw news reports about Nipsey's death that it hit her. Holder might have been the one responsible. And think about that for a second. She had only known this guy for a month, and now she's caught up in one of the most devastating and talked about moments in LA history, which is just wild when you consider how quickly things escalated from a simple car ride to an irreversible tragedy. Nipsey's brother, Black Sam, sat down with Big Boy for an emotional and eye-opening interview, where he talked about everything from Nipsey's life in their childhood to the gut-wrenching day his brother was taken from them. Toward the end of the conversation, Sam got really personal as he shared his memories of that tragic day in 2019. He described how, despite the chaos, there was this flicker of hope as they rushed Nipsey to the hospital, holding on to the belief that maybe, just maybe, his brother would pull through. But when the news came that Nipsey had passed, everything crumbled. It was like the Twilight Zone after that, Sam recalled, his voice heavy with emotion. Everything I believed in, my faith was shattered.
Just couldn't understand it, man. Just like the Twilight Zone after that. Everything I believed in, or my faith in, shattered.
It was a moment that stuck with listeners, showing just how deep the loss cut, not just for Sam, but for everyone who loved Nipsey. Big Boy, never one to shy away from the tough questions, asked Sam if he believed the narrative that Nipsey's Emder was just a random spur-of-the-moment act. That's when Sam started peeling back the
way they tell the story does make it seem like it was off his own emotion reaction and not a sent hit. I mean, the way they tell it and his actions, like he kicked the man. He kicked Nipsey when he was dead, kicked him in the head. That's some real hate. He did that. He's totally crashed out. He didn't care about going to jail. Obviously, he knew he was on camera. He knew he was going down for it. but that hate took over. You know the term called I'm seeing red. That's a dangerous thing when you're seeing red. When your anger take over you, you do dumb shit. You crash the fuck out. This dude was a certified rider, certified killer in his hood. And they say there's rumors that he wasn't really even a snitch. So I don't know the things with that. We got to look him up, all that type of stuff. But he was called a snitch in front of the boy that he was pulling up to show love to and show respect to. Nipsey called him a rat. Like, that shit, you know what I mean? That'll have a nigga tripping. I ain't gonna lie. Where did the bullets hit Nipsey? I mean, they hit him all around his body. Let's see if they'll get into it though.
Layers, revealing some details that painted a much different picture. He explained that whenever Nipsey visited the Marathon store, there was always a protocol, a routine meant to keep him safe. "You're gonna see me with a hoodie on and I got a pistol on me," Sam said, describing how someone would usually be stationed at the door, armed and watching over the scene.
We in the doorway. When Hustle pull up, we in the doorway. You gonna see me with a hoodie on and I got a pistol on me. You're gonna see one of the team members in the hoodie in the doorway with a pistol. That's protocol. Why didn't in there didn't follow the protocol? I wasn't there. Why they didn't follow it? Maybe they was around helping the customer, doing some customer service. This is what I'm thinking. Transition into some legitimate selling clothes. But nobody was in the doorway.
But on that particular,
they fell off on the militant shit and slacked up a little bit. The moment you slack up, bang, that's when they on you. I used to have a thing like back when I was, doing a little dirt back in the streets or whatever else. Like, once you forget about the police, that's when they pull you over. Once you forget about these people or whatever that's when they get you. Keep it on your mind at all times when you're out there. Yeah, they slept for a minute. Reportedly shot at least 10 times from feet to head and hit liver. Yeah, damn, KTS, shot his ass up, man. Rest in peace to Nipsey, but whew.
Particular day, something was off. No one was standing guard, and Nipsey, dressed in shorts and seemingly relaxed, was left vulnerable in a way he never should have been. Sam went on to recall how Eric Holder, the man who ultimately pulled the trigger, first approached Nipsey shirtless.
The thing is, Nipsey was in his zone, his world, his castle, his kingdom that he built. He used to be there from broke when he was broke to now he rich. He's still there. You get a sense of comfortability, a sense of comfort in your zone, you feel me, in your hood, especially when you own the fucking block. He owned all the buildings over there. You feel comfort. That's what they call slipping and slacking. You know what I mean? They call lacking and loafing. But unfortunately, that was the wrong time. Especially when you make an accusation like that towards a gang member, that's when everybody's supposed to tighten up. You call a real one a rat or a killer. I'm not saying a real one, but a killer, a rat. The homie's supposed to tighten up, know what the fuck is about to go down, what might go down, be ready. So yeah, Cowboy, them dudes, man, a lot of them dudes, they should feel the pain of regret of not being on point at that time and not staying sharp. Nipsey the star, you feel me? I think of things in a spiritual point of view. Me too, man. His security was lacking while the man died during that instant, something telling me that was meant to happen. Oh, everything's meant to happen. That's how I feel. But then again, everything happens for a reason, But at the same time, you still gotta analyze situations and think what you could do better, what you could have done better. I don't like saying coulda, shoulda, or woulda, but I do analyze and change up my how I came at it. If I make a mistake, I ain't gonna make the same mistake. That's called insanity.
Like he was scouting the area. Holder, Sam said, must have noticed the lack of security at the door, seen that Nipsey wasn't on high alert, and made his move. But here's where it gets even more chilling. Holder walked away just like Brianita had confirmed during her testament, only for him to come back minutes later wearing a red shirt. In their neighborhood, Sam explained, nobody wears red shirts. It's practically a rule. You can't even buy one at the local liquor store. To Sam, this detail wasn't just random, it was deliberate. He believed Holder intentionally put on the red shirt to throw people off, to make his actions seem disconnected from the gang-related tensions of the area before sneaking through the alley and carrying out the attack. For Sam, this wasn't just some heat-of-the-moment thing. It was calculated, planned, and devastatingly executed.
Or probably he had on something that was white or had something that he ain't want blood to get on. He changed it up because Ain't no way in hell he's trying to throw off the gang. That's his gang. Everybody know who he is. You didn't kill everybody there, so there's no way you getting away. Everybody that was there know who you is. So wearing a red shirt don't throw off shit, because everybody know who the fuck you are. You know, they got Crips that wear red to throw people off, but they homies know who the hell they are, and they know why they wearing red. You got Bloods that wear blue. Same situation, so I'm not buying that either.
From my understanding, old boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene, because he know what's going on in that parking lot. So he came back with a red shirt on, tiptoed through the alley, and went right and started shooting. So to me, that's premeditated. Number one, there's no red shirts in the hood. You can't buy no red shirt. No liquor store sell no red shirt.
Fast forward to the trial, and Holder was eventually sentenced to 60 years to life in prison, with the verdict landing on July 6, 2022, when he...
Even if it was premeditated, you talking to the homies, hey, yo, you know they saying you this, you that. Who's saying that? Man, Nips was just saying that. People just saying that. Word? Let me pull up over there by Nip and see what's up. See what his temperature like. He pull up to Nip. Yeah, man, get up out of here, man. You a rat. Oh, okay. Say less. Like I said, even if it was premeditated, that don't mean he was sent by nobody. That just don't mean that. You feel me?
He was found guilty of first-degree murder for Nipsey's K-ing.
For count one alone, it would be 50 years to life. The total sentence would be 60 years to life in prison.
The sentence came down hard, as it should, considering the weight of his actions. But Holder wasn't just convicted of Nipsey's murder. He was also found guilty of 2 counts of attempted voluntary manslaughter and possession of a firearm. He pleaded not guilty to all charges, and while the jury didn't buy his claims of innocence when it came to Nipsey, they did find him not guilty of attempted murder in relation to 2 men injured during the shooting. After the verdict, Holder's attorney Aaron Jansen expressed disappointment, saying that they planned to appeal the sentence. It was always going to be tough given the high-profile circumstances surrounding the case, Jansen told ABC News, acknowledging just how much attention the trial had received. But he also pointed out a small silver lining in what he saw as an otherwise heavy blow. They were relieved the jury agreed to acquit Holder of the 2 attempted murder charges, believing those accusations were overblown. Still, for Sam and the rest of Nipsey's loved ones, the focus wasn't on legal technicalities. It was about the irreplaceable loss of a man who wasn't just a rapper, but a community leader, a brother, and a beacon of hope in a neighborhood that needed him. Sam's reflections during that interview served as a painful reminder of how much was lost that day, not just for his family, but for the culture Nipsey worked so hard to uplift. Even though Holder pleaded not guilty to the first-degree murder charge, he never actually denied pulling the trigger and K-ing Nipsey Hussle. His lawyer Jansen made the case during the trial that while Holder did shoot Hussle, it wasn't some premeditated act. It was a crime of passion, fueled by the heat of the moment. Mr. Holder has always been willing to accept responsibility for the charge of voluntary manslaughter for the life he took, Jansen explained in a statement to ABC News on July 2nd, 2022. But here's the thing. Nipsey's murder wasn't Holder's first brush with the law. Turns out, Holder already had a bit of a track record. Back in 2009, he faced charges for domestic violence and battery, though both cases ended up being dismissed. Then there were smaller infractions like getting caught driving without a license in 2011. But things got more serious in 2012, when he was busted for carrying a loaded firearm and a concealed weapon. Holder eventually pled guilty to the first charge, which earned him 180 days in LA County Jail and 3 years of probation. By 2015, he even had a probation violation hearing. Still, nothing in his past compared to the magnitude of what he's dealing with now. On the other hand, Nipsey Hussle was the polar opposite, a beacon of hope for the Crenshaw community. He wasn't just a rapper. He was a community leader who gave back to the same neighborhood he came from. He provided jobs, supported local businesses, and was even in talks with the LAPD about ways to reduce gang violence just days before his tragic death. Nipsey's impact wasn't limited to music or his immediate surroundings. He was a force for change. Born Ermias Joseph Askedom, Nipsey carved out his own lane in the music world, starting with his independent release of Slauson Boy Volume 1, which gained him local buzz and led to deals with Cinematic Music Group and Epic Records. Over the years, he became known for his standout mixtapes, like the Bullets Ain't Got No Name series, The Marathon, and Crenshaw. That last one, Jay-Z himself bought 100 copies at $100 each, a power move that made headlines and solidified Nipsey's hustle as something special. Then came his debut album, Victory Lap, in 2018, which was a massive success, earning a Grammy nomination for Best best rap album. Even after his passing, Nipsey's influence remained strong, with posthumous Grammy wins for racks in the middle and higher. But Nipsey's story wasn't just about music. He grew up in Crenshaw and got involved with the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips as a teenager. At just 14, he left home and started hustling, but by 19, his perspective shifted. A trip to Eritrea with his father and brother in 2004 was life-changing. It inspired him to embrace an entrepreneurial mindset and dedicate himself to uplifting his community. His stage name, Nipsey Hussle, was a nod to his grind and work ethic, a playful take on comedian Nipsey Russell, given to him by a childhood friend who saw his relentless drive. Nipsey Hussle wasn't just an artist. He was a symbol of resilience, ambition, and hope. His death left a void that's still felt today, but his legacy as a leader and visionary for Crenshaw continues to inspire, even in the face of the tragedy and loss that surrounded his life and death. Outside of music, Nipsey Hussle left an unforgettable legacy as a community leader and activist. He co-founded the Marathon clothing store and created Vector 90, a co-working space designed to empower young people in Crenshaw with opportunities in science, technology, and entrepreneurship. Nipsey was dedicated to uplifting his neighborhood, funding school improvements, mentoring students, and speaking out about his own experiences with gang culture to inspire change. He worked on projects like Destination Crenshaw to celebrate black culture and had even planned a meeting with the LAPD to discuss solutions for reducing gang violence just days before his death.
I went through my emails yesterday and I found the original email to me to set up a meeting with the chief to help improve communication, relationships, and work towards changing the culture and dialogue between LAPD and the inner city.
After his tragic passing, the outpouring of grief from fans, celebrities, and even former President Obama highlighted how much he meant to his community and beyond. His funeral procession through South Central LA drew massive crowds, showing the deep respect and love people had for him. Nipsey's impact didn't stop there. His life inspired gang leaders to take steps toward peace, with many calling ceasefires and holding summits to curb violence. In every sense, Nipsey Hussle was more than a rapper. He was a movement, a visionary, and a symbol of hope for generations to come. And that's all from us today, guys. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, man, that's crazy as hell. When you think about it, yeah, you're right. You know, KTS, that ratting shit is serious when it comes to the gangs and it comes to the streets and certain things like that. Or murder, the code of silence. That's how they supposed to carry it too. You feel me? Nipsey Hussle, James Hussle, you already know, 100. He was a 100 individual about peace, trying to change the narrative in LA. And he was a big factor. He was changing the narrative. My whole thing is, man, whew, that boy Eric Holder, imagine you can't have no visits because you got gangs watching whoever come visit you, send the word out. Next thing you know, your auntie dead or whoever came to visit you dead, your baby mama, your girlfriend, this and that. People still got love for Nipsey and hate for Eric Holder for killing Nipsey. So yeah, man, I don't know about his mother and baby mother and grandma all getting killed and all that type of shit. But you know what we say here, where there's smoke, there's fire. He definitely dealing with some real repercussions other than jail for killing Nipsey, because Nipsey was well loved. He was beloved, you know what I mean? Just like when Pop got killed, they started shooting up shit. A lot of people died behind that. Same situation. You got to ask yourself, if Nipsey was doing all that good stuff for the youth and the community, why would God take him out? Well, you know, they say the same thing about Jesus. They say the same thing about a bunch of people. God got his reasons. If you believe in God, you feel me? Then, you know, at the same time, you're looking at the situation like, what a shame. And you're looking at, you put the eye on gang violence. You put the eye on the dumb shit that we do in the inner cities and the stupid, senseless killings. It opens an eye on stuff, and Nipsey's death is sparking another young dude in LA that's coming up right now who watched it and studied it, and he's going to change the game. You feel me? That's just how the game goes. Somebody got to be a sacrifice. There's always a sacrifice for everything. There's always a sacrifice. But yeah, man, whew, that boy in the can. He can't get no visits. He get any type of visits, they on him. Damn, that's whack. But hey, some say he deserved it. I think he do too. He deserved that shit. He a foul motherfucker. He should have seen Nipsey's worth and let that shit slide, let it ride. Catch a fade with him sometime, do something, you feel me? But don't kill him like that, man. That was fucked up. So he deserved everything you're getting. Yeah, I think so. I think, he had to be used as that. I really do. I think that. You feel me? I do believe that. And that's what it is, man. He was a martyr. Rest in peace, Nipsey. Eric Holder, man. You better go do something with yourself. Because it ain't looking good. Anyway, and a shame on because your actions, your family got to pay for it. And if you had any kids, anything, it's a damn shame. Anyway, that was another reaction by Bush. We're going to bounce back with another reaction in a minute. Appreciate y'all tapping in. My boy James Hudson, KTS, The Real, Jules, Izzy. This was great.